Hello. Okay, so today I'm going to be sharing 16 mindset shifts that will help you be a better marketer. And so I think this is really important right now because as someone who just tries to keep a general eye on patterns of speech that photographers are saying about themselves or how they feel about their work, there's a lot of feeling of frustration and hopelessness and all of these big feelings, right? And some of it is just dumbing back down to like what people think could possibly be the biggest issue that I don't think is the biggest issue. So majority of posts that I see start with like, the market is too saturated. There's no room for me. There's nothing I can do. And I want to leave space for those thoughts and feelings. And I personally do not believe that the market is any more saturated than it has ever been. Part of that is because when I came into the industry in around 2010, it was a recession. And so women, especially moms, were really looking for ways to make any extra money that they could. And so I knew way more women who had part-time photography businesses than I do now in my community. I'm comparing it by community. Obviously, I know a lot more photographers now, but I'm saying like within a stone's throw of my house, there was way more than there are now. And that's because now the times have changed so much that the money that people actually need to fill the gap of back in 2010 when times were tough, you needed like a couple extra $100 maybe and that would get you through the month. Whereas now it's like you need a couple extra $1,000 if you were to compare. And so the task of casually making a couple $1,000s a month from photography, no matter what, is going to require a lot of hours of marketing. And I've been talking about that theme for a while now, of the fact that it's going to be a lot of hours and a lot of work. And there's I keep seeing these sort of like posts or, people who have been in education, or they're trying to get attention for marketing as a photographer or creative. And it's always the same. It's like sort of hinting that maybe there's a secret, or like you're just one real trend away, or those sort of things are so frustrating for me because there's no trend in between where you are now and where you want to be with your photography. There's no secret. Like there's not like a bunch of photographers hiding behind a door. And if someone could just give you the key and you could open the door, you could join them in this like land of profitability and sessions galore. That is not what is happening. And I understand that those things sell really well and get attention and people like to look at them. But as someone who tries to market very ethically, that's how I say it, is frustrating because there is no secret. However, there is one thing that you have control over, and that is your thoughts. As a parent, one of the most powerful transitions that we made when raising our daughters and the way that we spoke to them was to stop saying, "What's wrong?" And instead we said, "What's your thought?" Because that put them back in the driver's seat. If I say like, "What's wrong with you?" you better just go to therapy at that point, because who even knows? Like they try to unpack that. But if I can say, "What's the thought?" and you can think, "I feel this way because I was thinking about this. I feel afraid because I was thinking about how much harder it is to get clients," is a lot different than "there's something wrong, but I can't identify it. And I'm just going to keep being in the state of feeling misaligned." So that idea of the only thing that can cause an emotion is a thought, that's mindset. So we're going to go through 16 mindset shifts, and they're kind of organized in parts. So the first one is negativity to neutrality. So the first one is marketing feels icky. 2, marketing is sharing solutions. So there's people out there who want you to solve their problem. You're not bothering people when you post, when you talk about things, when you email them. You're inviting them into a meaningful world that you're creating. And the second one is no one cares what I have to say. Switch it to somebody is waiting for exactly this. Talk to that one person. There's always somebody who needs to hear what you have to say. 3, the one we just touched on. The market is too saturated. Like, where do we go with that thought? Like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to go and like knock on people's doors and be like, I mean, you should close your business? Or are you going to go to people who are at Costco buying a DSLR and be like, you shouldn't buy that? You have no control. So why try to control it? The new mindset for that is my perspective is what makes me stand out. You're not trying to be better than the masses. You're just trying to be you in a more clear way. 4, I'm too behind to catch up is what you switch this to. I know what matters now and I'm starting there. So even if you've been spinning around in these feelings of everyone and their mom has this job, there's not enough clients to go around, I feel very gross about it, at any point you can say, okay, I was there and now I'm choosing a different path. Number 5, I'm not good at marketing. I hear that all the time. Anyone can be a good marketer because marketing is fairly simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. The new mindset shift for that is I can get better with practice. Marketing is a learnable skill. It's about data. It's not your personality. It's not the color of your hair. Even that you can change. It is something that you can learn to be better at. Number 6, I have to post constantly to stay relevant. The new mindset shift is my content builds connection, not just noise. When you are looking at what you're doing through the lens of every other photographer, you will only see it that way, as opposed to seeing it through the lens of just your business and just what you care about. Hold on one second. Hello? Hello.
What's you been doing after school?
I don't know. I haven't heard from her.
What?
I haven't heard from her.
Where are you?
In my closet trying to record my podcast.
Sorry.
What are you doing after school?
I don't know.
Okay, well just text me when you know.
I'm just going to the bus and then I'll meet up with the bridge.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so now we're going to part 2. From lack to potential. There's 5 shifts in this grouping. Number 7, we're counting 216 here. No one is booking. The new mindset is I haven't built enough trust yet. Building trust takes time. So you could actually build trust fairly quickly if you had every element that you needed. So let's say you're a new photographer coming on the market, but you had a lot of content. You were coming on to this is always how I recommend someone start a business anyway, which is shoot a ton and don't charge for it and get really good at producing a gallery. And then you can come on the market with a clear artist path. That's much easier than dragging everyone along with you as you try to raise your prices and clarify what you're booking and all of that stuff. But generally, the normal person is not going to have a bunch of consistent content right when they come on the market. So it's going to take time for you to build trust, because not only are you building out a consistent portfolio, you're learning to trust yourself. You're learning to build your own boundaries and decide what you will accept and what you won't accept. Number 8 is I don't have enough followers. So people still frame their success within the walls of followers or views. And that has nothing to do with your photography. So you don't need, I have 12,000 followers on Instagram. I photograph I could profitably photograph about 100 people a year. And I'm weirdly what is that word? High density, so I know someone's yelling it right now. High amount. Okay, that's what we're going with. I have a lot of sessions that I do, so you're probably even lower than that. So you don't need, it doesn't translate directly. I know photographers who have very few followers and they're booked out for the entire year. And I know photographers who have 40,000 followers and they're literally getting kicked out of their house because they cannot make rent. So it's not relevant. Again, another tattoo that we should put. I should get like a wall of tattoos, a wall of photography business tattoo truths. Okay, number 9. They didn't book, so something is wrong with me. They didn't book. A new mindset shift is not everyone is the right fit, and that's okay. Maybe they didn't book because you built a boundary in your copy, in your website, in your systems, in your process that was non-negotiable for them. So what did you want them to do something they don't want to do and then possibly become an unhappy client? There's so many ways to think about this. If somebody didn't book and you have really trustworthy content, you have a really consistent portfolio, you email back and forth with them, it's probably the reason they probably booked is something that's not in your control. Unless you're going to loan them, let's say it's financial, unless you're going to loan them money to hire you, there's nothing you can do. So why spin around and worry about it? Number 10, I can't charge that much. So people say this all the time, especially when I'm doing mentoring. People want to talk about price, which I understand. I try not to mentor on price because I want to encourage them to do the calculation themselves. I feel like women especially, it's very hard for them to say, you know what? I want a 10K month. I want 10K months consistently. Like that's hard. That's hard for a lot of women to say because there's like a worthiness issue and a reality issue and a what would people think issue and a fear of success issue. All those things kind of pile in. But you could also say, when I believe in my value, other people will as well. Which one feels better? You know what I mean? If you feel like you can't charge that much, tell me why. What's the reason? If it's because you truly cannot produce a consistent gallery, work on producing consistent galleries. If you feel like you produce a consistent gallery and you provide a wonderful client experience and your clients are happy, you're probably just scared. And when you choose, you're one step away from choosing to see the value in yourself, which in turn will allow the value to be seen by other people. Number 11, I have to do everything myself. New mindset shift. The amount of time that I have is the amount of time that I will use. If someone asks you to do a task in 3 months or 3 days and you have to get it done, you're going to get it done in that time frame. It's the boundary that you give yourself. So the vast majority of photographers that I talk to do not have a problem necessarily with coming up with marketing ideas, even though I know it's really helpful to have them. And that's one of the elements of the membership that I love the most. It's actually just structure and realizing that you have a lot more time than you think. Okay, part 3, we're getting close. Part 3 is self-doubt to self-trust. Okay. Being your own boss is lonely. It just is lonely. There's no one, you wake up in the morning, no one's giving you a to-do list, no one's patting you on the back. It's all you. So number 12 is, I need to sound like other photographers because it's safe. You assume that if you blend in, you'll find safety. The mindset shift is my words, my voice, my boundaries are my superpower. So you don't need to sound any particular way. You need to sound consistently you. And you doesn't have to be you in real life. You need to sound consistently your brand voice. Your copy, the way you talk, the way you come across. The more consistent that is, the more you stand out through that consistency. Because everyone else is saying the same thing. When I do about me pages, when I review those in the membership or website, or it's always the same. Capture the memories. What does it mean? What are we capturing? I want to know about you. I want to know about what you do at a session. 13, if someone copies me, I lose. Oh my gosh. The amount of things that people have copied from me and other people that I know, there's no stopping it. So if I just told you that you're never going to stop it, and could you just get over it? Like if you want to write someone an email or explain to them why it's not okay, or submit them to that one photographer website about copying that I can't remember the name of, you can do all of that. Or you can say, here's the mindset shift. I'm always evolving and they can't copy that. How are you going to copy someone if no one knows what your next move is? You don't have to worry about what anyone else is doing. The power in not knowing what other photographers in your town will set your soul free. I am telling you that. Stop following everyone in your town. Mute them if you are struggling. It will be a life-changing decision for you, because then when you go to a location, you don't have to be like, who is here? Who's coming here? Who could create art here better than I can? You're just there and you're present and you're with your clients and you're delivering galleries. And then you're over here and you're with your clients and you're delivering galleries and you're being present. It's just life-changing. 14, I have to prove that I'm good. The mindset shift is, I will let my client experience do the talking for me. So that's how you can see through the reviews, through the feedback, through what people are saying to you, that your way of producing a client session through the lens of their experience is more proof than you'll ever need from any other outside source. 15, this is another huge one. People will judge me if I show up too much. Mindset shift, people will trust me because I show up more. Visibility is vulnerability. When you show up, people are aware. Part of the reason that people may have a reaction to you, I've told you guys about all the times where I've gone live or said things or whatever, and people have thought that they were talking a little bit of shady to their friend, and they sent it directly back to me. That is because there's a vulnerability there that they're aware of in themselves, and I'm mirroring it, and it's activating an emotion in them. But it doesn't actually have anything to do with me. So you being visible is a vulnerable act. And it's also the gateway to relationships. And our business is built on relationships. You are asking people to show up at a field and love on their family in front of you. They've never met you before. Would you rather do that in front of someone who you feel like you already know? Or would you do that in front of someone you know they're a photographer and that's all you know about them? It's a pretty simple equation. If you have never, the more you show up, the more haters you'll get. That's okay. That's a mindset shift. Stack up your haters, write their names on a little plaque and be like, look at all of them. I'm really going somewhere now. If you're not doing anything, there's nothing to watch. There's nothing to feel if you're quiet. Number 16, I'm behind. So for, I would say, probably 79.675% photographers, the marketing is happening in their head. And this is true for me too. Like I will have marketing ideas, I'll have marketing concepts, I'll have things I want to try, and it's all in my head, and I don't execute on everything I want to. But if you make a choice to show up consistently, then your mindset shift can go to this. I am building at the right pace. The right pace has to be tied to your goal. If you want to not progress, the right pace would be you're never showing up. If you want to progress to get to those 10K months, for example, you have to decide through data, like this marketing that I'm creating is working, is resulting in bookings. You're putting yourself out there enough to gather data. Then you're choosing your pace, then you're choosing your systems, then you're choosing your strategy. And then you can decide what's working for you, because that comparison will always keep you quiet if you're going by these outside forces and not going on what you need to do as a photographer in your own world to make your own income goal, if it's just a solo venture and you were the only photographer in the country, if that's how you operated, then you'd be like, okay, in order to hit my income goal, I know from past marketing efforts that these are the strategies that are working. If you aren't trying any marketing strategies, you can't decide what's working and what's not working. The way that you're deciding what's working and what's not working is you're watching other people. And that's never going to be true for your business because they don't have your clientele, they don't have your boundaries, they don't have your systems, they don't have your voice. So choose to trust yourself and stick with your strategy. Okay, so I just wanted to say one more little piece about, I've gotten a lot of questions about this. Obviously, if you live in the US, there's a lot going on right now. And I come from a family where I have never been someone who shies away from saying how I feel about things. But I want to pair that with the information that I'm also someone who is like a high-speed digester of information and emotional processing, which means when I don't understand like a political concept or something that's going on in the world, I'm very quick to research it, deep dive it. I'm a really fast reader. I'm a really fast processor. And so I feel like I understand that I can read a lot about what's going on, and then I can digest that narrative and then decide how it fits into my own political beliefs, for example. And then it's very easy for me to stand firmly in that place because I've done a lot of research about it. I feel really good about it. And I know that not everyone has the capacity, the bandwidth, the education, the whatever to care or want to do that. But this is something that I'll say. If you feel passionate about something and you feel like you really want people to understand this core value of yours, then it's okay to say what you think about things. Because the alternative is hiding and being, if you don't feel completely unconfident about whatever issue it is, I understand that. But if you feel like you have a nagging thing that you'd really like the people in your life to know where you stand about something, it's never served me wrong to say what I believe, if that makes sense. And I'm confident enough that anytime I've done it, if I've got any pushback, it's totally fine because I will have that conversation. You can also say, this is what I believe and I'm not accepting any conversations about it. I just wanted to put it out there so you guys can all understand about my perspective. But I just want to say that if you're teetering on the edge of that it's never kind of taken me in a bad direction when I feel confident in my stance to say, this is how I feel about this, especially when it's something that affects a lot of people. So I just want to add that in this timely, in this era that we're in, where whether or not you think it's right or not, there's a lot of people who are trying to figure out where people they look up to or businesses they're interested in working with, any of those things, where those people stand on certain issues. And I'm not saying that you have to turn your brand into some sort of political place. And if you choose to not talk about anything political or anything other than photography, that is also something that you can do. This message is for the people who are really wishing that they could confidently say their beliefs that they feel strong about. I would just tell you that if you feel that way, then it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to say, hey, this is how I feel, because at the end of the day, you are still in charge of the boundaries that surround your place in the world. So you could say, like when the last election happened, I was explaining my stance, and there was a lot of people who tried to write into me to try to sway me. And I just gently said, it's not up for discussion. It's already been processed. This is how I feel. And that is a boundary that is available to everyone. But at that time and in my country, it was very important for me to say where I stood about things. So that's just something I want to share if you're teetering on the edge, which I know many of you are because you send me DMs about it all the time. I wish I could say something, but I can't. I wish I could do. It's your business. you can do whatever you want. And there may be consequences to that. So you have to decide if you're firm enough and you've intellectually and emotionally processed your decision and your stance enough to at least not have it fold under the slightest whisper of pushback. But I just want to give you that nudge. I'm not telling you to do something or that you have to. I'm just saying if you're on the edge, you can. It never hurt me. If there's people that turn their back on me because of that, the only things I'll talk about are so deep seated in my core of what I think is important for humanity that it doesn't matter to me if people turn away from me because of those things. Okay, hope this was helpful. Oh, and the Google algorithm is really changing rapidly with the AI overview. So if you're curious about it, hop in the membership. We're having a class on Monday, June 16th about little steps we can be taking to get our businesses more recognized by AI. Do I wish we weren't having to do that? Sure. But am I going to leave everyone in the dust operating in a system of SEO that's no longer relevant? No. So I hope you'll join us and I hope you have a good day.